everyone, Chef Ashley here with EdVenture Eats at Home in my kitchen. Today we're going to be making one of my favorite snacks ever, pizza dip. It's really easy. If you're looking for ingredients or the recipe, it's been posted on our wall, so look for that. If you have any questions about the recipe, we're going to be posting that at the end. It'll be in the comments, so if you miss something, don't stress about it. It'll be there. And Chef Kenny's going to be answering any questions you might have while I'm throwing all of this together. So he'll be in the comment section. Look for Chef Kenny, and he can answer any questions you might have. Before we get started, I'm going to give everybody a few seconds to hop on, but before we get started, go ahead and preheat your oven to 425, and we're going to wash our hands really quick, okay? And then we'll get started. So get your oven preheated to 425 and get those hands washed, and we'll get started. All right, so hopefully you guys have been paying attention to our Facebook feed and you've seen our ingredient list. So if you've got that, you're all set to go. I'm going to kind of go through some of our ingredients quickly so that you guys will know what we're going to be using today for our pizza dip. So I've got a couple different kinds of cheese, because what's pizza without a bunch of cheese? We've got mozzarella, Parmesan. We're going to be mixing that in just a second here with some ricotta cheese. We're going to need about 8 ounces of that. And then we've got some cream cheese here too. So you want this to kind of come up to room temperature so it's easily spreadable. So while I have my oven preheating, I just went ahead and put my cream cheese here on top of the stove, and that'll kind of help it come up to room temperature a little bit quickly. All right, so then we've got all of our spices. We're going to be using oregano, basil. You can use a really good Italian blend. If you've got an Italian blend shaker in your spice cabinet, that'll be great. We've got garlic powder, onion powder. Of course, if you want to use fresh onion or fresh garlic, that's great too. You can totally do that. We've got our toppings for our pizza dip. So today I'm going to be using red peppers. I like red peppers in everything, so I'm going to be using those. Spinach, mushrooms. One of my favorite pizza recipe calls for pineapple on pizza, which I think totally belongs on pizza. If you want to put pineapple on there, do it. If you want to put pepperonis, do it. I've got some cute little mini pepperonis that we're going to throw on our dip. Whatever you want to add onto your pizza dip is totally cool. We've got mushrooms, we've got spinach, and then I've got some fresh herbs. We're going to be using some basil and some oregano from my garden. So with all of that and our pizza sauce, I think we're ready to go. So what we're going to do first is we're going to need a mixing bowl, because you want to add all of our ingredients here, get it very well mixed before we throw it in the oven to warm it up and get it nice and bubbly. So we're going to use about 8 ounces of ricotta. So this is a 32 ounce. We're going to use about a quarter of this here. If you want a little more, you can. Sometimes I double it because it goes really fast. And so we definitely want enough of that ricotta to share. Alright, I might add just a little extra scoop today, because why not? It's Friday and we love cheese and we love pizza. Alright, so we've got our ricotta in there. We're going to use a half a block of cream cheese. So hopefully you pulled yours out early and it's come up to room temperature here. We're going to open this guy up. Oh, this is really soft, so this will be perfect. And we're going to add half a block here. This is going to add a nice, rich creaminess to our dip that we definitely need. So we're going to add half a block. If you're doubling it, use the whole block there. And you know, when I cook, I don't really measure things, which is why I'm a better cook than I'm a better baker. But if you really know that you like the flavor of something specific when you're cooking, add more of it. It's totally cool. Alright, so we've got our cream cheese there, and we've got our ricotta. We're going to be adding some of the mozzarella and the Parmesan, but before we do that, I'm going to kind of go ahead and I'm going to use a fork to kind of incorporate the ricotta and the cream cheese together. And it should be really soft if you let it come up to room temperature. If you don't have time to pull it out early, you can just throw it in the microwave and nuke it for a second. And that'll get it nice and soft. so that you can mix it very, very well. So we're just going to incorporate the ricotta with the cream cheese. Step number 1, really easy. And since they're both the same shade, it's just going to look like a big blob of cheese, which is great. My favorite thing ever. All right. Next, we've got to add those other cheeses in there. So we're going to go for the mozzarella. This is a full-fat mozzarella. If you wanted to use like some sort of skim mozzarella, whatever you got works. We're going to put about 3/4 of a cup in there, or a cup if you just love cheese. And as you can see, I'm not measuring. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. You could do that too. This is a really easy recipe that you don't have to really measure everything out perfectly. And then we've got Parmesan. We're going to use about 1/4 cup of that. So just a little sprinkle. And we're going to save a little for the top too. Okay? Perfect. And I like to mix as I go. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a mix too. You guys, this is like the best snack ever. My friend Victoria introduced it to me, and all of my friends and I, we just love this pizza dip so much. Anytime we're all getting together, we are like, Victoria, can you make the pizza dip, please? And now we all know how to make it too. But you know how when your mom makes something and it just tastes a certain way, and you can't really recreate it? That's how I feel like this pizza dip is. It's going to be really, really good. You guys are going to love it, but I don't know if it'll be as good as Victoria's. We'll see. I bet it will be, though. All right. So we've got it all mixed in. Here we go. Looks like a blob of cheese still, because it is. Alrighty. Now we're going to season. You know I'm big on seasoning, so we're going to season as we go. I'm going to use a lot of stuff. The recipe that we've posted calls for garlic powder. I think it's a 1/2 teaspoon, so we're going to put some garlic powder in there. I've got Lowry's. It's got a little bit of parsley in it for color. I like garlic, so I'm adding a lot in there. Alright. And then I've got onion powder. You could also use a minced onion, dried minced onion if you want to. Again, this is whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to add to it is good. We want to stick with those Italian flavorings like oregano, marjoram, basil, maybe a little bit of rosemary, that kind of stuff. All right, and then I've got some fresh basil. So that's my spinach. Fresh basil. So I'm going to chop that really quickly. Just a little bit of that and a little bit of oregano here. So you can use dried. I just happen to have like a ton of herbs growing in my garden right now. So I'm going to use fresh because why not? So a little basil, a little oregano. If you've got dried at home, go ahead and add that in there. About a 1/2 teaspoon of each. I'm just going to give it a quick little mince here. And they're going to be fresh herbs, so they're going to have that nice pop of flavor. All right, so I'm going to sprinkle that in. Yes, queen, it's already looking really yummy. We need a little bit of pepper, so I'm going to grind a little pepper in there. It always says a pinch of pepper, I don't know, just a little bit of pepper. And then I need salt. Where's my salt? There it is. Just a few shakes of salt in there. Sea salt's what I like to use. Okay, let's see. So we've got basil, oregano, salt and pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. Now, you could use a nice Italian blend if you don't want to dig out all of that stuff from your spice cabinet. I'm going to just add a little for flavor because, you know, I'm big on flavor. I want it to be very well seasoned. And this is what we're looking like so far. So we've got all those herbs in there, all those different cheeses. And we are going to give that a stir as well. It smells like pizza. We've got all those pizza flavors going on there. Love it. Mix it really well. And this is going to be pretty much the base of our pizza dip. Now what I'm going to do that deviates a little bit from the recipe, you know I can't say the recipe, but I'm going to deviate a little bit from that. And I'm going to use just a touch of our pizza sauce in the cheese, but we're also going to do a layer on top like a pizza. So I've got Mia's Kitchen here. This is a pizza sauce. It's kind of one of the low sodium ones that has a lot of flavor and not a ton of preservatives. This one's got tomatoes, tomato puree, onions, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, basil, all of those yummy things. So I'm going to add a couple of spoonfuls of that. If I can get it open. Come on. Seriously? I really can't open this. Oh my gosh. Good thing my boyfriend's in the house. Hang on, I'm gonna have him open my pizza sauce. Oh my gosh. Of course when I'm live, I cannot open my own pizza sauce. So I'm all about girl power, but it helps to have a boyfriend around that can open things for you. Jeez, okay. So we're gonna add a couple of spoonfuls, let's do 3, of this delicious pizza sauce right in here. And then we're gonna add it on the top too. It's gonna be awesome. So give it a stir. That'll incorporate all of those pizza flavors in there. If you want to just keep it on top like your pizza sauce with your toppings, you can totally do that too. You know I'm easy with my recipes. Whatever you want to do. All right. So now it kind of looks like a really yummy like lasagna filling or something. Check it out. We're ready to go. So you're going to use an oven-safe bowl or container here. You can also use some of the smaller ramekins if you wanted to do individual sizes. This would be a really fun like group activity so everybody could make their own pizza dip with their toppings. Today I'm going to be using an oven-safe dish a little bit bigger because I'm probably just going to eat it all myself. All right, so grab a non-stick spray. Give it a little spray. There we go. And our cheese mixture is going to go straight in. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat this. I'm definitely going to eat this all by myself. I might share a little with Ray for helping me open my jar of pizza sauce. Jeez. Alright. So spread it evenly there. Perfect. Should be nice and whipped, full of cheese, full of flavor. Love it. Get this out of the way. And next, we are going to add a little bit of that pizza sauce directly to the top as if we were making a pizza. So you're just going to kind of take a few tablespoons of that. I think it calls for about a half a cup. If you want a little bit more sauce, go for it. This is your pizza dip. All right, sauce there. I want a little more. I'm going to add more. All right. Now on to topping. So like I said earlier, I'm going to be using some red pepper. Bell peppers are sweet, they're not spicy. And I think they go really well with anything that's got kind of those Italian flavors. So I'm going to put a little bit of diced red pepper on top. You can do whatever you want. If you want some olives, those would be really good. If you want mushrooms, I'm going to add mushrooms in a second. You could do onion. You could do ham. If you're a vegetarian, you could stick with veggie toppings. I love veggie pizza. All right, sprinkle those right on top. Next, I'm going to go for a couple of mushrooms. Couple slices of mushroom. You could use white button mushrooms, you could use shiitake, you could use portobello, anything you want. Okay, a few of those. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat this. Alright. Spinach, you gotta eat your greens. I'm gonna add a few leaves of spinach. And I'm probably going to put a little bit more of that basil in there too. I love all the veggies, the crunch of the veggies, and I like lots of fresh flavor from herbs. So we'll sprinkle a little spinach. Oh, this is so beautiful. Love it. A little bit of basil. what we're going to do is we're going to top it with a little bit more of that cheese. So we've got a little bit of mozzarella and Parmesan. If you wanted to use a little bit of cheddar or whatever you like, that's totally great. We're going to give it a sprinkle there on top. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to do this. Mozzarella, Parmesan. And then I like to just do a little shake of Italian seasoning on top. And that will give us that extra pop of flavor. Okay, got my Italian seasoning, just a little shake. And we're going to go directly into our oven. We've got it set at 425, and it's going to take about 10 minutes. So let's get it in there and going. And while that's going, I wanted to show you guys how to make your own marinara sauce for pasta or pizza sauce. If you're going to try to stay away from things that are canned or jarred, it's really, really easy to make your own. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And by the time we finish that, then our pizza dip will be done. All right, so to get started with our own pizza dip, we're going to need a can of crushed tomatoes. I've got a big can here. This is how many ounces? 28 ounces. So I've got crushed tomatoes, and I'm going to use one of the small ones of tomato paste. So if you guys are following along at home, don't worry. I'm going to post this in the comment section after. So if you guys are into making your own pizza or pasta sauce, you'll be able to follow along. All right, I'm going to get started with an onion. I'm probably going to use about half an onion, a quarter of an onion. I like lots of those onion flavors in there, so I'm probably going to use this whole half here. You're going to get your pot. I've got a pot handy here, and a little splash of olive oil for the bottom. First, we're going to saute some onion and garlic. That'll be our base, and then we'll add our tomato and seasonings. It's super easy. Alright, so go ahead and get that up to about medium-high. We'll get that warming while we chop up our onion. You can go for a dice on this. And then I'm going to add garlic. I love garlic, so I'm probably going to do a couple cloves of garlic there. If you wanted to, you could add extra veggies. At this point, you could add red peppers. You could do some spinach or mushrooms if you wanted to make a really nice veggie-heavy sauce. For right now, I think I'm just going to do the onions and the garlic. All right. If you guys are just tuning in, we're doing an extra recipe to show you guys how to make your own pasta or pizza sauce. It takes just a few minutes. It's really easy. So we've got onion in there. And now we're going to throw in some garlic cloves, my favorite. All right. Give it a slice there. You can mince it to get it a little bit smaller. Perfect. That was a huge one. All right, and I think I'll add a second one. What I'm doing is I'm just putting my garlic clove down and I'm laying my knife flat on it and hitting it pretty hard, and it knocks that hard shell off of your garlic so you don't have to sit there and try to get all of that sticky, hard, whatever that is on your garlic. There we go. Second clove in. You can do as many as you want. We're just doing a small pot, so I'm going to do about 2 cloves and half an onion. So we're going to get that sauteing. It smells really good. And I'm going to walk you through some of our spices while these kind of soften a little bit. So with the Italian seasoning, we've got all of the things that we talked about earlier. So this is a good go-to. You can also add fresh herbs. You can do oregano. You can do basil, marjoram. Thyme's a good one. And then you want to have your salt and your pepper. Garlic and onion powder is something that I always use in my sauces, so I'll probably add a little bit of that. And then we've got our crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, and the secret ingredient is just a little sprinkled sugar. So that will kind of balance out all of the acidity that's in the tomato. So we've already got all of that out because we were making it with our pizza dip, so it's easy. We're just going to throw that into our sauce. Alright, so you want to let these go for a couple of minutes until they become fragrant and start to soften a little bit. This doesn't take long at all. Normally, if I was doing this without being live and trying to rush through it, I would kind of let these caramelize and maybe let them cook for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes or so to really soften and kind of bring the sweetness out of the onions. But since I'm in a little bit of a rush, I'm going to go ahead and get my sauce going. So we've got our tomato paste. We're not going to use this whole can. We're probably going to use a couple tablespoons out of here. So we'll get a few scoops of that. Straight in. And then we will use the whole 28 ounces of our crushed tomatoes. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Give that a stir. Incorporate that tomato paste really well into the crushed tomatoes. And what the tomato paste does is it sort of thickens it a little bit. So that's like really good for a pizza sauce. If you've got it thickened, if you like it a little bit thinner, you could leave the tomato paste out. It also adds a certain richness to it that I really like. Alright, so we're going to keep it on medium-high. And now I'm going to start adding some of those seasonings. So I've got, of course, salt and pepper. There we go. You know I love the onion and the garlic powder, so we're going to put a little bit of that in there. Even though we've got onions, it's going to double up on that flavor and give it a really complex taste. Garlic, straight in. And I'm going to do my dried seasonings. I'm going to use the Italian seasoning as well as some of my fresh herbs. I'm going to give that a stir. It's starting to bubble on me here. Alright. Italian seasoning, straight in. You can be heavy-handed with this. We want lots of flavor in those tomatoes there. Alright. And then I've got fresh Italian oregano. I'm just going to kind of take those leaves and throw them straight in. You can chop them if you want to or mince them. I don't mind big pops of flavor, so I'm going to add them straight in. And then some basil. So essentially all of those flavors that we put into our pizza dip are the same flavors that you're going to put into a pasta or a pizza sauce. And then remember I said we've got our secret ingredient, which is a little bit of sugar. And we need that little bit of sugar to kind of balance out the acidity of those tomatoes. So I'm going to do a sprinkle of that, and that's pretty much it. So this is going to taste really good the longer it sits. So you kind of want to let it simmer for a while so all those flavors can marry together and taste really delicious. Alright. So that is a quick and easy way to make a pasta or a pizza sauce. I'm going to set it on my back burner. And I'm going to put it on like medium-low, and I'm just going to cook it till I'm ready. Alright, now we're going to check on our pizza dip. Should be looking pretty good. It's been about 10 minutes or so. Oh my gosh, that looks really good. I think what I'm going to do here is my trick is I'm going to throw it under the broiler for just a second, and that's going to get that cheese really melty. So if you've got it on 425, switch it over real quick to broil. And this is where you cannot walk away. So make sure that you're really close to your oven. We've got it on broil, and we're just going to watch it for a second to see all of that cheese start to bubble. And it'll happen really, really fast. It smells amazing. We've got all of those fresh herbs, veggies, everything going on there. It's going to be awesome. So we can clean up our workspace a little bit while we set it under the broil. We don't want to get too far away because we definitely want to be able to keep an eye on it. So I'm just going to clear this away, give it a second. You can do the same. I like to clean as I go so my kitchen isn't a mess when I'm all finished. I'm going to check it again. Oh, now it's really starting to bubble. Oh my gosh. It looks great. I think we're all ready, you guys. Definitely make sure that you're using your oven gloves. Don't want to burn yourself. And I'm going to let that set for just a second. You guys can grab some bagel chips are really good with this. Any sort of cracker. You could even, if you weren't eating any of that kind of stuff, you could even dip it with like bell peppers or something would be really, really good. But of course, I want crackers or bagel bites to go with mine. Bagel chips. Alright, so let me see what it looks like here. It smells amazing. I'm going to try to hold it up so you guys can see. Look at that. And it smells amazing. So how easy was that? Really simple. And we used all of the same ingredients to also make some pasta and pizza sauce. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you've got any comments or questions, you can drop them down into the comment section. Chef Kenny and I would be happy to answer them for you. I hope that you guys make some pizza dip at home. Everyone's going to love it, and then you'll be making it all the time, and you'll be totally over it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions for next week, let Chef Kenny and I know. You can go ahead and put it down in the comment section, and we'll be happy to look at that. Hope you guys are going to have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.